Hey everyone, and welcome back to Stock Talk on September 12th. Just a couple things to note. Yesterday, I did do a private stock talk for the members in the course, and what's going to happen in the future is we're going to be shifting some of the stock talks during the weekdays for the members only. I think it's kind of fair for them to get more exposure, so I can actually even open up even more to what technicals that I'm watching. In the meantime, of course, I will be here providing YouTube stock talks as well, but perhaps not as often. And I will be coming up to tell you if there are potential, big trend changes if I see them. But that's what I'm looking for. And also with the tickers that you guys are submitting, thank you everyone for submitting those tickers. But I want to try to limit those to around 3 random tickers. I'll pick them randomly out of the video per stock talk. And the reason for that is, once again, I'm spending more time with the members and they're calling out some really nice tickers. And I want to really take the time to help them for those who are really involved with the curriculum. So we'll still do those things, but just a little more kind of packed in. So let's take a look at general market movement, or the S&P 500. So yesterday we talked about in the stock talk a support area of 287.70, around that area. Today, you guys can see the movement within the markets, right? For the S&P 500, we pushed higher, we pushed lower, but in the end, we pretty much were even. And what does that say? Well, based off of yesterday's candle, we saw a reversal candle, or a nice reversal area at the very least. And now today we retested the possible support area, and now we're heading on higher. So that's interesting. And you guys can imagine, for most day today, most of the markets, such as the NASDAQ, were actually pushing lower. But you have to ask yourself, TVIX, which tracks volatility, was also pushing lower. So while most of the indices were pushing lower, volatility was down over 2% today. So what does that mean? Well, that means that there is a more bullish momentum with the markets right now. Looking at TVIX, or volatility, we're looking at the yearly chart, and you guys can see how volatility, came down, went to the 20-period moving average. Yesterday it broke below, and today what happened? We continued that progression lower. Is that surprising? And that's really not surprising. Note that there is a semi-support around $20-$30, but it certainly doesn't have to hold, especially since the S&P 500 has been making new all-time highs, and this wasn't just a long time ago in which we're making all-time new highs. And you guys can see that we made an all-time high just last week, a couple of weeks ago, and we can certainly make more highs as we continue our bullish trajectory back to the upside. Once again, I do hear a lot of chatter in terms of bearish momentum, or a bearish downside, or a large correction. I'm aware that there is a potential at some point there will be a large correction, whether it's next week, next month, 3 years from now. But we have to take it as it is, right? If we don't see that impulsive selling, we can't say that we are, going into a bearish trend until we see it, right? That just pretty much makes sense. We just have to follow the trend. And in this case, you guys can see that we're making all-time highs. 9 out of 10 times that person who is more bearish will be wrong. One time they will be right, but at what period? That's really the question. All right, let's take a look at commodities really quick. So we'll take a look at crude oil, or 4/CL. So crude oil, very interesting pattern today. You guys can see that we have a resistance at 70.38. Line hasn't changed, right? So you guys can see, where did we close today? Right at the resistance. That's pretty much normal, right? And you guys can see that we held a support area about 67.61. What does that tell us for crude oil? Well, from the trajectory of crude oil, we can see that, right now we're at the resistance, so we could get rejected and come down a little bit. But overall, crude oil's trajectory is bullish, and that's really been confirmed based off of yesterday's pattern. So actually, in yesterday's private stock talk, I talked about how it was rather easy for crude oil to push to the resistance area when we closed. It was rather easy for it to push to the resistance area, but pushing across the resistance area, that's more difficult. And you guys can see how we pulled back to where? back to the resistance area by the end of the day. That's just how the market works over and over and over again. And yeah, 4/GC or gold futures. This is something I talked about yesterday as well. We noticed some tail candles at a possible support area, right? You guys can see that. And we said that there was a possible reversal to the upside for gold. And today we saw gold push significantly higher. We pushed higher to where? To pretty much the resistance line of 1211.3, which we've talked about many times before. Just reference our previous Stock Talk video on YouTube. I talked about this level last time. Where did we end ourselves today? Once again, we ended ourselves right here. So gold looking better. It looks like the move back to the upside. I like it. I want to see more upside to come. I want to see, especially a close over 1211.3. Did we close over 1211.3? We did, but I want to see one more close above that level. But overall, gold looks better, significantly better now. Taking a look at JNUG, which follows gold, you guys can see how we made an all-time low yesterday, and today we finally got that move back to the upside, a 10%, over 10% move. So that's something I'm monitoring. Note that we've gotten reject in the past, so I certainly don't want to get fooled at the, near the 20-period moving average and get rejected again. So for you guys to be cautious about. 4/NG or natural gas futures. This was something, wow, this is incredible because I talked about this yesterday again. So I said that natural gas was on a reversal back to the upside. However, what I really want to see is a double bottom. And you guys can see that we tried to push higher. Today, what did we do? We formed a reversal candle back to the downside. So in my opinion, I would expect more downside coming for natural gas, at least in the short term, before another move higher. And there was a couple of things I was watching. I was just looking at the patterns and past trends, and it just didn't match up in terms of a reversal back to the upside that quickly. So that's 4/NG, and not something I would go into natural gas on, at least right now. So from now, I'm going to take 3 random tickers, so hopefully you guys get lucky. And we'll take a look at Vicky's ticker. That's number 1. FNKO, I think that's the FUNKO. Is that FNKO? Is that? Yeah, so here's FN. Wow. So this is rather dramatic move to the upside. You guys can see that this developed over a period of a year. And now we've come down yesterday quite significantly, but today we formed a reversal area. This one looks good. This one looks good because we can identify an area in which we can pinpoint a stop loss on, and that's what makes it nice. So this is a very good trend. Now that today has played out, yesterday I wouldn't have said this, but today it looks much, much better. And I like this trend, and I will keep an eye on that. So very good job. So where's the resistance, guys? You guys can see the support obviously is at $24, and that the resistance is, at 31.12, and pretty much the peak. So that's not hard to do. Let's actually zoom out and take a look at the long-term trend. Okay, it's interesting, but yeah, so in the short term I think it looks pretty good. So thank you for that call out, Vicky, and good eye. I don't know if you predicted this, but good eye today or yesterday. All right, let's take a look at another. Brolik, thank you, you're the man. Appreciate all that you do. Thank you very much for your comment, and once again, I really enjoy everyone's interaction in the comment section. I read every single comment, guys. So sometimes, I might not talk about it, but I read it every single time a comment comes up. So keep that coming, and be sure to like the video if you guys find these videos helpful. I enjoy doing these videos for YouTube. All right, let's take a look at another ticker. We'll take a look at the ticker M for Macy's. So who submitted that ticker? Let me see. Ryan. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the channel. So we'll do ticker M for Macy's. So for Macy's right now, you guys can see that we've had a massive up move, and right now we're forming a near horizontal pattern. It's a little more difficult to trade this pattern because we don't have a very defined support. You guys can see that we broke below. Oh, sorry guys. We've broke below the support a couple of times, and especially right now, we actually broke below the near-term support right here. It's a little difficult to trade. You guys can imagine the support level of 35.28 isn't really clearly defined. It's not that defined of a support level, and therefore, while this one could push higher, I would want to see volume kicking in. We have very low volume right now. Volume kicking in, pushing it over the 20-period moving average. Until that happens, it's a hard one to say because the support level's down here, and I can see this one pushing towards the support level or possibly a little lower before it recovers. Obviously, this is on an uptrend. I do like that. It's on an extended uptrend, so just keep an eye on this one. All right, thanks for your call out. Very nice. And then we'll take a look at the last one, which is from Reza. So ARKK. All right, let's take a look at this ticker. Yeah, this is once again pretty good. Good call out right now. You guys can see that this is a very definitive higher high plus higher low pattern, and that right now we formed an area of reversal right now, right here. So I think this one has potential for it to move higher. Okay, possibly even breaking the previous area of resistance. Let's take a look. Let me take a look at a couple of things. Yeah, so this one overall is good. Just know that if we probably look at the 3-year chart, it's not too bad. Yeah, you guys can see that how we're positioning ourselves right now. Is it the 100% best buy area? No, right? The 100% best buy area would probably be near the 20-period moving average, but we're close to it. So if you really want to take a position and you believe in this ETF, and you know how this ETF works, you certainly could, I think, look into this one if you're curious. So, all right, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for talking about all these tickers, and I will see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, to pretty much round up the week, and we'll look forward to what to expect in the next week. Because right now, what I'm seeing in the markets is rather interesting. We're having pretty much average volume right now, but we're always kind of inching towards all-time highs, and when that happens, that's certainly interesting because we get all the bears coming out saying it's going to collapse. Whenever there's some sort of small shift downwards, the bears come out and talk about collapsing. So anyways, kind of interesting to note. Anyways, see you guys, of course, tomorrow for that next stock talk.